Hello crafters, it's Chris from Crafts with Chris, and thank you guys so much for either making a purchase at my online store or purchasing the kit outright from me. I really appreciate all the support you guys give me. This is the Springtime Joy class. So you'll receive a packet in the mail with all your materials to make this class. You will not get any of the stamped images or any adhesives. You're just going to get the basic stuff to recreate these cards. These cards, you do not need the Springtime Joy stamp set. You can use any stamp set you own, but it does coordinate and go well with this stamp set. So this is the Springtime Joy stamp set. It's an Easter set and a spring set. So this is the stamp set I'm using today. So in your card packet, you will find a PDF. Mine does not currently have one in here. I haven't printed it out yet, but yours will have a PDF with colored pictures. It'll list all the materials used and the sizes to recreate these cards. So what you're going to do is just take out your packet, and I've got them layered. So the first card is on top, the second is in the middle, and the third is at the back. So let's go ahead and pull out the first card here. So I'm only going to make one card. You have enough supplies to make 2 cards each of these designs. So in here, let's go ahead and pull out these pieces here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I will do some stamping. So this is the only piece we're going to be stamping on. For the ink colors on all 3 of these cards, I'm using Memento and Seaside Spray. So for this one, I'm only using Memento ink. So we're going to go ahead and get our Memento out. And then there's this sentiment in here. Easter is a lovely reminder of new beginnings. So let's go ahead and stamp that out. And I'm just going to stamp this right in the center of this die cut here. Just make sure I get enough ink on there. And I'm going to line it up, like I said, right in the center. Just like that. And then in this set, there is a little chick. And one of the flowers, I'm going to use the tulip. So we're going to use the chick. And the tulip. And these will also be stamped out in your Memento. So I'm just going to stamp this cute little chick right here. And then the flower will go right on the other side. So I'm going to just set that aside, let that dry a little bit because I'm using the Stampin' Blends to do some coloring. So if you don't have the Stampin' Blends, you can use any kind of coloring tools that you want to. So your set will all be pre-scored once you get your card base out. Mine, I have not pre-scored it. In here, there's this pretty piece of Flirty Flamingo. This is already embossed for you with the ornate embossing folder. This is going to layer right on top. So you're just going to want to bring in your adhesive, whatever kind of adhesive you have. And we're just going to layer that right on the top. So you have that layered right on top. And then this guy here, your piece of Very Vanilla, that's going to go right on the inside of your card. So that's layered on the inside. And now we're going to bring this piece back. And I am using, like I said, Stampin' Blends to do some coloring on here, and I've listed all of the colors that I'm using so you can find for each card which colors I am using. So I'm just going to go ahead and when you use your Stampin' Blend markers, you want to make sure you have something underneath your surface because it will leak through, bleed through, I should say. So I'm just going to color my chick here. And when you use your Stampin' Blends, they do, like I said, they bleed. So the best thing to do is don't go right on the edge of your stamped image. Kind of go, you know, a little bit away from the edge because it will bleed a little bit. So you don't want to go right on the edge, because if you go on the edge, it's going to bleed outside your little chick. And then I'm just going to do a little orange nose or beak for him or her, whatever it is. And then your pink tulip. And I think this is Flirty Flamingo, and I think I did use Flirty Flamingo on this one. And then my Granny Apple Green. Really doesn't matter which pink you use. And you could switch up the colors too if you don't want to use these colors. So now this just gets stamp and seal on it, or whatever kind of adhesive you have. I just put this right in the middle of the front of this card, and I see that it's crooked a little bit. Let's see if I can straighten it out a little. There we go, much better. So then this will just get, and this is stamped crooked, but it's all right. Can't really tell. So that's all we're doing to this card. Nope, we're not. We're not all we're doing. In your card packet, you will find these pearls. These are from the pastel pearls, which I know are currently not available right now, but they should be coming back soon. It's saying March 8th, hopefully sooner. If you don't have these, if you want to recreate these cards and you don't have these and you don't want to wait to order them, you could use any kind of pearls or embellishments, whatever you want on here. It's just, I'm just using 3 right on the bottom here. Just like that. So that's it to the first card. Very simple, cute little Easter card. So let's move on to our next card. So this is the second card we will be making, another Easter card. And what we're going to do first is we will do our stamping first so that Memento ink can dry. So I do have a lot of stamping on here, so I'm using a lot of the different stamps in this set. So for the ink I'm using on this one, it's going to be Seaside Spray and then your Memento ink. So in this set, we're going to use Easter is a lovely reminder of new blessings, the Easter basket, the little cute bunny, the cute chick, and the butterfly. So the sentiment, Easter is a lovely reminder of new beginnings. That is going to be inked up with your Seaside Spray. And I'm going to do this first. And I'm going to stamp this off to the right-hand side, up towards the top. Not really in the center, closer to the right-hand side. So there's your sentiment there, all stamped down. I like to stamp that first, and then I can work around this sentiment where I want to stamp everything. That's it for our Seaside Spray. We can close that right up. So I'm going to bring in my Easter basket. I'm going to stamp that first. So this is with the Memento. This is going to get stamped right in the center, right below your sentiment a little bit, right there. And then let's bring in this cute little bunny. This one here is going to get stamped over here off to the side. And then our cute little chick, which will go right here. And then that cute little butterfly. So this I actually stamped out twice. Once there. And let's see, I don't know if I have enough room here because I stamped my bunny up too close to the top, but I think I can stamp this butterfly right above the bunny. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So my bunny's a little crooked, but that's okay. So this here, we're going to just set this to the side, let that dry off, and we're going to assemble the rest of the card. So now let's go ahead and fold our card. Again, you will have your crease mark in there. I'm going to bring that bone folder to give it a good crease. In your card set, you will find 2 different sizes of this polka dot tulle ribbon. So you have a longer piece and you have a little bit of a shorter piece. So after we fold this in half, this guy's going to get layered right on the front here. But before we do that, we're going to take our longer piece of tulle ribbon and we're going to apply it at the bottom of the card here. So this paper is from the Hydrangea Designer Series paper. It's so pretty. I love this paper. So we're going to just, like I said, layer this right on towards the bottom. About, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And then I'm going to apply some more adhesive. And then this one is going to layer right on top here. And then, of course, we have this piece of basic white. I think I called it Whisper White earlier. Basic white. So hard when you're used to saying something all these years and now it's changed. This goes right in the inside of your card, so you have a nice, clean place to write. You could also do a little bit of stamping on the inside. This piece of the ribbon, the smaller piece, we're just going to put it underneath the front and center, and then just give it a tug here, tie it into a knot, and then I will trim that down a little. So super cute. So now let's bring this piece back in that we have stamped. Again, Stampin' Blends, it's going to be my go-to coloring tool right now. Any kind of coloring you want to use, go ahead and do it. With your water-based colors, your markers, and your ink pads, you can use it with Memento. Just make sure it's very dry. It can tend to smear. So if you have Stays-On ink, I would recommend doing Stays-On ink and then using your water-based coloring. Because I'm doing the Stampin' Blends, that the Memento is for alcohol-based coloring. So with the Easter basket here, I'm just going to color my eggs different colors. And all these colors I'm using are listed on the, well, I'm going to color my green of the flowers while I have my granny apple green out here. And then the little chick, again, yellow. And I'll do a yellow egg. I'll bring in the Seaside Spray. Get one of those eggs with that. And then my light flirty flamingo. Color that egg in. Then I'm going to do the flowers here on my bunny. I'm not going to color the whole bunny in. I like the bunny just plain like that. For my Easter basket, I'm going to do crumb cake. This is the dark crumb cake, so I'm just going to do the handle of the Easter basket with the dark. And I'm going to do the light crumb cake for the basket. And then the last thing is that cute little butterfly. I'm going to use, let's see, which one is this? The light Calypso Coral for the butterfly. And then I'm going to take the light Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge of my die cut. Kind of just gives it more texture, and it pops it out a little bit more on that background. So you can do this with your Stampin' Write markers. If you have an ink pad, you can just take your ink pad and dip this in your ink pad. You know, or you can leave it blank, whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to take this with my adhesive, and it's just going to go on the front of this card here. So that's it to our second card. So now we're going to make our third card, which is my favorite. This is the third card here. So you're going to get these cards already set up for you. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys, in case you want to recreate this, how I actually made this awesome little background here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you that first. I've got a piece of very vanilla Whisper White, any kind of paper. It doesn't matter what color, whatever. And it is cut 5 1/4 by 4. So what I also have are these strips of paper. These are cut 1/2 inch. And I have Granny Apple Green, I have Flirty Flamingo, there's Seaside Spray, and then So Saffron. So I've got a bunch of these cut. I always have strips of paper. Just the way I cut my papers, I have a lot of these little thin strips. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your adhesive. Some people use the liquid adhesive. I don't like that. It's a little messy. I'm just going to take the Stampin' Seal, and you want to make sure you apply enough adhesive for this technique. So you're going to go down the sides. I'm going to go as close as I can to the edge of my card, or edge of the card base here. And then I'm just going to do some lines. I'm going to keep them kind of close. I mean, they don't have to be right on top of each other, but close enough. And then I'm going to go this way, do the same thing. So it's like a checkered design with your adhesive. So you just want to make sure you have a lot of adhesive on there. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go, with the light. So it's got that like gingham feel to it. So once you have that all done, then you're just going to bring in your papers. And I just went in a random pattern here. Or I just went in a pattern. It's not random. But any papers, any colors, anything will do. So I like to go diagonal with it. So I'm going to start in this top corner here. And I'm going to run it straight diagonal to the bottom. And then just give it a little push there. And then I'm going to bring in the next color, which will be the pink there, and I'm going to go as close to the end here. I'm going to make sure my pink is covering this whole piece of paper, and then you're just going to butt it up against your green. And I like the Stampin' Seal because it's not as sticky. You have a little bit of time, you can kind of pull it up some. If you use the Stampin' Seal Plus, once you lay that piece of paper down, it's down. That's why a lot of people like to use the liquid mono glue or the liquid glue, because you can easily move it. But the issue with the liquid glue is if you put too much on, it seeps up through the top. So you're just going to continue putting these pieces on to create this really cool pattern here. And I just keep going green, pink, yellow, blue, green, pink, yellow, blue. I do have smaller strips from when I, worked on projects or whatever. So there's that. And then I'm going to work backwards here. So we're going to go blue, so that's how I created that. So now you're thinking, well, that doesn't look too pretty. Then you flip it over, take your pair of paper snips, and you just trim all these pieces off. I've tried it in my paper trimmer. I know some people have done it in the paper trimmer. It's just a lot easier to trim these pieces off with your paper snips or your scissors. So that's all there is to that in creating that. So isn't that really cool? And you could, again, you guys can use any colors you want. So I just wanted to show you guys how I created that cool background piece. So let's bring in our pieces for our remaining card. So we're going to bring in this piece here. In our stamp set, there are these two flowers. We're going to use both those flowers, and we will be using Welcome Spring. I am using Memento ink again, and I'm going to start with one flower, whichever one you want. I'm using this little guy here, and I'm just going to stamp right down towards the bottom, and then I'm going to take my tulip and I'm going to stamp that next. And I'm just going alternating these flowers. And then I'm going to take that Welcome Spring, and that's going to get stamped right above, kind of in the center, up towards the top. And that's it to our stamping on this card. So we're going to set that aside, let that dry. You're going to fold your card in half on your scored card base here, bone folder again. And I'm going to use this piece of basic white. And that, of course, is going to go on the inside of our card. And then the outside, you're going to take your piece here. It's just going to get layered on the outside. Just like that. Before we put this on our card, we're going to do some coloring. So I'm going to do my Granny Apple Green, my Seaside Spray, and I think that's the Light Flirty Flamingo. We're going to just color these little flowers, the Seaside Spray. The tulips are going to be the then our tulips are going to be our Light Flirty Flamingo. And if you notice on these Stampin' Blend markers, the different tips, they color darker and lighter. So this tends to color a little darker right here. You guys can see the change in the color. The paintbrush side tends to color a little darker. So I'll show you here on my, because I don't know if you guys can see, it is colored, but it's not as dark. And then our Granny Apple Green. So I have the light Granny Apple Green that I'm coloring. And I'm going to bring my dark one in. I'll show you guys. It's not a necessary step, but it's kind of, you know, kind of gives it that shading effect. So here's my dark one. I'm going to use the paintbrush paint tip side, and I'm just going to follow that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just follow that little line. And there you go. That guy is all done being colored. So I took and I used Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to pop that up. Use whatever adhesive you want. You don't have to pop it up if you don't want to. And then this goes right in the center of this card. Like that. And then your final touch on that, you will have these holiday rhinestones in your packet here. So you're just gonna take 3 of them, put them right on your little flowers here. Just like that. So that's your 3rd card. Here's all the cards that we created in this card class. I hope you guys enjoyed making these cards. And again, thank you for your purchase.